Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are finally getting some, I guess, light action in at the moment for KvK Wars. We're going to be taking a look at S2-84 and I believe S2-85, along with potentially S2-86 to see what they have going on. But here in S2-84, this is comprised, but I think I'm still in here right now. No, we'll do this. Zoom this out on my other screen. But in S2-84, we have 305, 306, 307, and 308. The matchup right now for this one is SOD, SOD hyphen, SIN hyphen, I think as well. They're going up against 05DK and GLZ Squiggly. Right now, and this is in more Brez, I believe, so Zone 3. Now, it should be noted, Final Zone has opened, but there's really nothing popping off there right now. Again, we have Sin here, and then there's Sod over here. But again, these are the same two alliances that are together. In more Brez, and you can see one's going up from here, one's going over there. So there's not really anything at the moment that is, as far as anyone else making it there, right? Even over here in Dueling, no one's really even at the pass yet, with the exception of, I think, this one, NDA. But again, I don't know what side of the field they're on. So, yeah, basically it's just this battle that's happening here in Zone 3. Between, like I said, those four alliances. Now, at one point before, I believe I saw them as the fight was going on. I had to get some things set up, but 05DK and GLZ were actually up here double building the flags. It might have, I can't remember if it was both. Let me see, SOH, and never mind, it was actually them both. So it was SOH. Oh, where's SOH? So this, because this is GLZ and 05DK. And SLH, I don't know what side they're on. So I think they might have been destroying these, possibly. And then, because, yeah, you could see SOH is here. But the interesting part is that it's SOD and SIN. So I don't even see SOH on the field, at least at the moment, I should say. But they were up there. They ended up getting pushed back by those two alliances, which you can see now. Rally coming down. Oh, gosh, is that Guan? Who's that? Is that Guanwin Frey? It looks like. But again, this is on this ramp fight, so some decent action, right, that's happening right now. Not too much spread that we ended up seeing at the bottom right before Sod Sin ended up pushing out. So that is something, possible opportunity to work on there. Now, typically with the rallies that are hitting, right, from the change, the recent change, we should say, units, should be going through each other now when you're not engaged. Again, we'll have to see how that ends up looking when we see it visually. But since the recent change from 1.0.24, right, that is the way that it should be working now, where you're able to basically, if, for example, some of the 05DK or the GLZ units, right, wanted to kind of go up here, up the ramp, they could walk right through. So when I finally see it, I'll be interested to pay attention on how that plays out, because it does, I think, have a number of implications on being able to either bypass a front line and get to a back line. I think it allows for focus firing attention to be done from the team that's having units kind of walk through their legions, and maybe could open up some opportunities for the attackers too as well if you're kind of drawing attention away. I think it also requires a little bit more kind of engagement / disengagement, so a little bit more micro on how you're going to play those situations out. On, do you let them kind of walk through at those points, and maybe you have your back line focus firing them while your front line reprioritizes? Do you try to engage and, see if maybe they'll just kind of stop and maybe won't push forward anymore? Do you start kind of moving and having kind of fallback positioning, so that way you're never kind of getting discombobulated from units that are running just kind of right through the middle of your groups? I think there's a number of ways that it can play out. So let's see. Hopefully some of the sound effects is actually okay volume-wise. So they're just defending. And again, we'll probably go take a look at one of the other KvKs too as well. There's not too much popping off here. Maybe in a bit. Let's go take a look at 85. So now 85 should have, and this is groups 309 through 312. that we're going to take a look at here. And I believe there was something going on here. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. Yeah, I knew. So this is SNL. So the matchup here for final is SOT, squiggly, LioN, RWR, and then there's S-NL, S-K1, and possibly SE. However, only SNL and SK1 have made it into final zone at this time. We'll kind of show you that. So on this side, we have SOT, we have RWR, and then I think this is LioN. Let me, if I could just move to a blue area. It is. And then on this side, we have SK1, and then I can just click on the pass. Oops, hang on, sorry. That was, it's SNL. Purple, SK1 is red. And I don't know what's going on up here, right? This is SRN and BKC, but I don't know. Yeah, see, no one's even planning on hitting that yet. So units are basically walking over. I wonder if anyone's coming over here. So no one's really coming over here on the SOT side. So it's mainly, I don't even know what is happening here. Nothing. Okay. Oh, here we go. Oh, nice. Maybe we're going to get a little action. Yeah, but this is it. I mean, and keep in mind, these are Season 2 Kingdoms. So, you know, is the expectation that we're going to end up having a lot of PvP? Possibly. You know, I'm not sure. As far as, you know, are we going to get bigger fights? Possibly. We'll have to probably wait maybe until territory connects or gets a little bit closer. Aside from maybe these are just off times for them as well. So right, maybe this just isn't like peak time for activity-wise, as that can definitely vary, especially as we're getting deeper into some of the newer kingdoms, right, kind of beyond 200, beyond 300, where, you know, more regions have opened up. So it's not, without dying, it's not always going to be traditionally kind of U.S. focused or prioritized times, right? So we're probably going to end up seeing, again, different peaks and offline activity windows too as well. Let's see here. Don't die. Okay. Should always have water near me, and I don't. Whew. Okay. So let's see how LioN is going to approach this. They have a number of units that are not being utilized right now, that are just hanging out. Okay, these could be coming up and fighting a little bit more. Spread here is okay. I would almost argue spreading a little wider. Not sure why we're having these three over here. My dog was whining all night. I think that's what it was. Okay, this is actually not bad. This is good spread here from LioN with their units, which looks like maybe about, what, 13, 14 legions here. And this is pretty nice, right, compared to the SK1 SNL spread, right, a little bit more clumped up here. But this is really good. I actually really like this from LioN right now. Even over here, too, as well, where the lane is extending. Now, the challenge, as always, is that sometimes if you are spread too thin and you feel like, you know what, maybe we're not able to keep up with the numbers advantage splitting, then that's just where you kind of have to choose your battles, right? On who are you going to focus on at what time. And the thing is, you want to make sure your lines are pretty consistent. So if you're all moving up, you're moving up together. If you're moving back, you're moving back together. Now, of course, if you end up giving like this wave motion, that can happen sometimes where, for example, maybe you're stagnant, maybe you're flat here, consistent, but then it like curves like this because maybe this side is then dipping back, right? So they're kind of going like that. So, you know, you obviously want to make adjustments. This is nice. I mean, they're pushing up appropriately. It doesn't look like LioN is overextending right now. The line is remaining pretty consistent. This is a little rough, right? Because you have opportunities here to be focus firing down this mid. Honestly, this group or this group are really good to focus down. And then typically you also want to try and prioritize, if you're able to, right, units that have the weakest HP. Why? Because, again, that just gets one legion out a lot faster, reducing overall DPS. And then, of course, if you're able to prioritize particular legions at that time, right, even better. But usually, it's looking for numbers advantages, focus firing the unit or legions that have the lowest HP, and then also looking to prioritize clumps, and then taking advantage of outliers, right? So those overextenders, if you will. This is actually pretty well done, man. This is, like, sexy. LioN is really impressing me right now with the spread here. going up against SNL and SK1. This is pretty close to textbook. Again, a few opportunities that we pointed out, but just look at how they're curving around the group here. And just, again, hitting from all sides at the same time with the spread, reducing. Now, obviously, this group, this is bundling a little bit too much, right? I'd like for this gap to be filled. I'd also like to maybe extend this a little bit more on this side. But for the most part, there were some really nice highlighting points. And this is one of the things I'm talking about, right? Where you're trying to focus this down, but you're getting picked off from over here on the northern side of your group. That's where, again, not overextending too far north, make them come to you. And then if you feel like there's an opportunity to then readjust or reposition your focus fire, then you do so appropriately. In addition, when you're overextended too much, it also takes that much longer for these units to come back up and assist, right? So you have to also think about how position factors into transition timing when you're going to then re-engage or engage on a new target, right? But again, that was pretty well done. I actually really like seeing that from them. So definitely kudos on that play. Let's see. So now it looks like they're trying to okay, my body. Is ready. I think I'm good now. So let's see. SNL, SK1. Are we pulling back now? I mean, flying units can go across, but the rest are probably going to have... Let me see, are they reherding? Are they trying to form maybe a new staging area? Okay, maybe. They got more people that are coming, but it's probably going to be a minute, I would imagine, because they got to go through the bridge here, and they're still building. Yeah, so, but I mean, again, if you think about this, right, it's what? 2 flags to 1, 1 flag to 1, 2 flags over here unimpeded, 3 flags probably soon, right? You might end up having the conjunction point probably being here north of this, what is it, a lake, right? I was going to say end of the cul-de-sac river, but yeah. I mean, it's got to be rough. Let me see where they're at right now. They're at, I mean, still, what, 1% probably? I got an hour 23 on that, at least right now, until they get some more builders. You're already seeing the next flag here. They're at 480, what, maybe 45, 44% on that. Red is, I mean, they got to be close to finishing theirs. Yeah, see, they got 14 minutes, so they're probably like 80%, give or take. And then purple's, I think purple's moving too as well over here for SOT. And they're about a third of the way, excuse me, along there. So, yeah, I mean, again, a good engagement. I mean, especially if the initial plan is like, hey, we're just going to delay. Now, I'd be okay if some of these line units wanted to push out and just start picking off some stragglers because there's not that many SNL. I just wouldn't go and fight this like a pure 3v3, right, in that sense. I think I'd rather look and see how does the matchup look overall with the amount of units you have on the field versus the amount of units they have. And then, again, you should still always be looking for those advantages, right? Don't settle in those cases. Let me see, we're in 85. I just want to take a look at some of the power numbers for the alliances that we can take a look at because we are observing at the moment. And like I said before, I still think the simple mode needs to be fixed a little bit here because you'll notice like when we do simple mode, sometimes when units engage, we won't see the HP bars. In addition, when there's really like I'd say mid to large amounts of units on the field, sometimes we don't see all the units, even in the simple mode. Which, I mean, I do get, and I understand that's kind of the point, right? Where it's like if you have multiple units from the same person that are out, right, you're just going to reduce them to 1. But at the same time, if they're being hit and you're not able to see their HP, I mean, I guess it is kind of, you kind of have to take it in or, take what it is with what you're trying to get out of it. Okay, so let's look at powers here. So we know... so we have gosh, who was it? LioN, I have to remember now. LioN and ST, right? Am I correct? Hang on, where is this? So it's LioN, SOT, RWR. So we see LioN, SOT, okay. So it looks like it's, okay, it looks like it's number 1, number 3, number 4 versus number 2, number 5, and number 6. And I can probably show this to you guys here in a sec. Let's see. Can we do it like this? Yeah, this will probably be okay. Let's see. So let's go right. Yeah, it's about right? Oops, sorry. Yeah, it's okay. So it's now, from what you could see, it's 1. Oh gosh, hopefully I didn't lose train of my thought. Sorry, it's 2, 5, and 6, right? So top 6 alliances, and then it's 1, 3, and 4. So this is what, 2.8, we got 5.3, 5.4, 6.4, 6.8 billion versus 2, 7, 4, 5, we'll say, and then 6.4. So, yeah. Verse, what, so it's like, what, 2 bill more, right? What did I say, 2.8, 5, 4, if I'm rounding. And then 5, 7, 8. No, 5, 4, so 7, 8. Verse 6, 4, so, sorry, about 1.4 billion, if I can count correctly. Difference on that side. Again, I haven't looked at like how the breakdown looks here. But let me see. SOT, so you got 93, 84. There's what? About 10 T5s. 9, 10 T5s here. And then if we're looking at the distribution, it's SOT line RWR. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So 4 versus 6. At that point, right? Or 4 versus 5. That's actually not that bad when you're just looking at the breakdown itself. Okay. All right, touche. Touche. Cool, cool, cool. Alrighty. So, let's go take a look now at, I think it was, I don't know if there's anything going on at 86. No, it's a while away. Let's go back to 84. I just want to see if maybe anything else is re-popping there, so we can maybe get a little bit of action. Oh, dang, a lot more now. Alrighty. Here we go. Here we go. So they are pushing down right now. And keep in mind, right, this is still Zone 3, more Brez for them. Now, the one thing I really would like to see here from SOD is just, again, hit your banana peel and just spread a bit, right? You don't want to condense too much in a single area. This doesn't mean you have to spread incredibly wide. Like, we're not talking going all the way here north of this city for conquering 999. You got to go all the way down here past the balloon. But at least a little spread here would be nice. Just establish your line. And/or, if you are going to mob through, then my recommendation is mob through in a direction. Don't mob through and you're just sitting there allowing for yourself to get encircled. If you mob through, you have to mob through like a spear, right? And go in one direction and then move accordingly. Like, basically be a snake. That's kind of how you want to do it, right? Where you're moving, but everyone is still in that same line, right? Either line or you're just like a ball, and the ball is just moving all together, right? If you got like 50 or 60 units in there. But that's really how you would do it. Like, if you want to avoid getting encircled, that is one way to do it, because you still can create advantages for yourself, and also because it requires... So it is an interesting tactic, because you have to think about it like this. If you apply something like that, there's pros and cons. Some of the pros are that if you have a moving ball, you're able to have all of your players focus firing and having condensed attacks, usually in smaller areas. So you're typically going to look for, again, those overextenders. You're going to look for small groups or bunched up groups, but you're potentially going to try and avoid not only getting encircled, but you want to avoid fighting like a large, widespread out amount of units. It doesn't mean that you can't go up against another ball similarly, but it's also that think of it like, if anyone here has seen the movie 300, right? where they're moving as like the guarded ball, or like they have the shields, and then they break out at certain points, right, that are objectively rational or smart for them to do so. And so you kind of want to approach it in some ways like that. Like, it's okay to ball in certain scenarios where maybe your opponents are a little bit more spread out and you're going through their territory in kind of a single way. You can also potentially apply your own type of spread out of having multiple small groups. There are a couple ways to do it. It's just that no matter what, if you're going to do something like that, you have to really be conditioned. You have to be very consistent, and it has to be something where like everyone's on the same page. Right? Everyone understands what the assignment is to make the most use out of it and for it to be as effective as it can. And so that's something you could do where, like, if you had the ball, you could come up here, right? You're avoiding some of these units, but you're also allowing your 50 or 60 units to just, like, basically burst fire your enemies down incredibly fast. So you're just kind of picking them off one by one. And that's one way where you can quit, especially if you can do it, again, in an organized way, in a coordinated fashion. You're going to be able to reduce a lot of enemy DPS, which also can benefit you as well. So, but something like that, like I said, it just takes a lot. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of having good timing. Outside of that, this is at least what it looks like. I'm going to get 05DK and who was it? Who else did I have here? It was 05DK and GLZ. Even though I don't know if I see another GLZ person right now. I'm sure there's probably someone somewhere. But again, you have some of them spreading a little bit. This could be, I think, a little bit better from them. Right? You kind of want to avoid clumping up over here, which is what they're doing. And SOD and Sin really haven't kind of pushed out and made what it feels like to be the most useful. Trying to find the right words there. We'll just say the most useful way and approach here in this case, right? Where, yeah, they have good numbers, and you could argue they have a little bit more activity numbers-wise than their opponents. But when you come down the ramp, you know, making sure that you are, again, one, either balling and going in a direction, or you're banana peeling and spreading out, and then you're focus firing where you need to, and understanding kind of how you're going to move, right? It almost feels a little, I don't know if I want to say disorganized, but it feels a little bit like just not up to par, right, at the moment with kind of how things are going. Again, also, it doesn't look as, let me see, we're at 84. Let me take a look at, did we look at, oh, we didn't look at leaderboards. Okay, let me move over there while we're watching. So let's do this. We'll go 84, I think it's 305. Okay, now we have 05DK that is pushing up here. I probably would wait a bit before doing that. Again, this is actually a poor call. Who's ever making this call right now to push up the ramp, this is not the way to do it. You do not have the necessary amount of numbers right now. I mean, look at all these people. You have a bunch of marches. Look at all this reinforcement, right? There's nothing wrong with waiting until you have a little bit closer numbers. I mean, look at this. If you look at SOD and Sin, they have to probably run a really far distance, right? Look at this. They're running from over here, and then wherever Sin is. I don't even know. Where is Sin? There's SOD. I mean, look at that. Sin's in purple. So again, they have farther walk times and replenishment times than you do. So really the better play is get as many players as you can, wait for as many units, and then go ahead and do a coordinated push. Because you're going to end up either having equal numbers or you'll have more numbers than they are. And the fact, let's just be real here, the fact that SOD, Sin, and SOH are holding out here as long as they have been with those long arse march times from SOD and Sin, I will say, I mean that's not bad. That's pretty good to be able to hold out that long. So again, if I'm L5DK, if I'm GLZ, again, I'm waiting for a number of other people. You can clearly see they're still getting reinforced. I'd wait for at least those 5 or 6 other legions to come up and then make your push. In addition, what do we talk about? What's the number one rule you don't do when you're pushing across a choke? Especially if it's a ramp or bridge. You do not sit on the ramp or bridge. We talk about this often, right? You push all the way up and then you split. Right? You either banana split or you go in one direction. Now, if I'm looking at it from here, look at all this open area you have. Right? So if this is me, and I'm 05DK, I'm pushing up the ramp, and I'm going to push over here north, and I'm going to establish an area, and then I'm going to structure myself, right? All while you could still be attacking, but keep in mind, even if you take a little bit of damage up front, you could even do something where like you allow for some of your infantry to come up. We've seen the whole freezing ring thing being utilized a lot, where you allow maybe like 5 or 6 infantry units to come up. Everyone pushes, but they're leading. They start getting focus fired, and then just kind of one by one, they can proc their freezing rings as an example. And then from there, you allow your DPS to get to where it needs to get to. And then while that's happening, now not only are you positioned here with a good amount of numbers, and there's nothing really that's going to detriment you, right? There's no turrets, barricades, keeps over here, etc. While that's happening, then you're pushing up your secondary force, right? That's coming up as well, and then you're just kind of doing small picks for both sides, and now you're kind of almost created this artificial sandwich, if you will. Again, a number of ways, even just getting flying units involved, and being able to have Celestials over here kind of picking off. I mean, again, look at this. Attack this person who's just standing still. Attack the supply lines, right? The resupply lines from over here, right? This is a good area to do it from as well, where the cliffs are. I mean, just thinking outside the box. I mean, the numbers it doesn't feel to me like it's too, now bear in mind, we'd have to look exactly what the distribution is here, and I think I'm going to do that right now. So let's see what the powers are. So we know, like we said, in 84, we have SOD Sin going up against 05DK GLZ. So let's see here. So SOD and Sin are 1 and 3, and 05DK and GLZ are 2 and 4. Okay, so they are clearly weaker. Just at least alliance power-wise. We'd have to look at what like the T5 distribution is. Also, I would move this back. You're kind of getting caught off guard. You can clearly see that you're getting 5v1'd at that point. So SOD and Sin are at 6.1 billion. 05DK and GLZ are at 4.3. So it's about a 1.8, 1.7 billion difference right now. If we look at T5s, there's probably about 10 or 11 here. Let's see. We have 05DK, GLZ. So they have 4, you could argue. But probably more, I mean, with more units, it's probably like 2 out of the top 8. Or it's 4 out of the top 11. So, again, I mean, it's either a 4-to-1 or about a 3-to-1 advantage when it comes, right? So, like, Beth Savage is at 92 mil that we're looking at. And then SOD looks like some special characters. Looks like 2 or 3 characters, right, at 107 mil. Ranker at 74 mil. Ivana at 67 mil. So if we see any of those people out there for DK or SOD, again, just to kind of show, let me see if I can show you guys this too as well. I'll show it off just so you guys get a nice little clear picture here on distribution. So we can look at alliance power, right? That's what we're talking about. So it's 1 and 3, and then 2 and 4. SOH could be there too. I mean, also BAZ, but it looks like for the most part it's the top 4 that's really fighting it out. And then if you look at personal power, right, you could see that where Targos at 53, but then you got 350s over here. So probably more entry-level T5. So yeah, kind of shows that. Let's skadoosh this back over. Yeah. All right. So not bad. I mean, again, whoa. Okay, we'll just do this. No. Okay, we'll go like this. Where's my thing? All right, that'll work. That'll work for now. And my screen ended up switching up on me. So, yep, I think that's probably going to do it for us on this one. Again, man, happy to come and watch a little bit of fighting. I'm sure we're going to get more, too, as well, especially once the territories get a little bit closer. Probably more so in S2-85 compared to S2-84, just because it doesn't really look like at the moment that we're probably going to be seeing, for how things are looking, where we're going to be seeing potentially some massive final zone fight. S2-85, I think it's more likely that we'll see that. Just depending on if LioN's going to be able to push out of their area, right? Because obviously they were getting pretty pressed by SNL and SK1. And then the next one we have is S2-86. That's 313 and 316. I think they have about 3 chapters left until Final Zone, and I'm hoping that's going to be a pretty banger of a fight, and along with some other wars that we're going to have coming up. So hope you guys enjoyed this one, being able to show you off 2 KvKs from Season 2 with a little bit of fighting here and there. And yeah, hopefully I'm finally going to be able to get back on track of showing you guys a lot more PvP now that I'm just kind of caught up out of just the massive things that have been happening over the past while. So yeah, that's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.